Brooke Shabbat Yom, brothers and sisters, Hebrews in Jamaica, the Caribbeans the West, to the four corners of the earth scattered greetings. This Shabbat lesson we're going to title it The Mark of Qayin, Cain. The Mark of Qayin, Cain. Right, brothers and sisters, so in the book of Bereshit, Genesis, after Cain, Qayin kills Havel, Abel. Eliyahu curses Qayin, Cain, to a life of toil and wandering, but when Qayin laments that his own life is in danger, Eliyahu promises to protect him. Yahuwah put a mark on Qayin, right, so that no one who came upon him would kill him. That's in Bereshit 4 and 15. Let's look at that, brothers and sisters. Okay, take a look at the screen. Okay, brothers and sisters, let's take it from 9 to 15 of Bereshit 4, 9 to 15. And Yahuwah said unto Cain, Qayin, where is Havel, Abel, thy brother? And he said, I know not, am I my brother's keeper? And he said, what hast thou done? You see the arrogance of Qayin, right? You see the arrogance of Qayin, brothers and sisters. When the Mosai Yahuwah asked him, where is Havel, Abel, thy brother? And he said, I know not, am I my brother's keeper? The arrogance, right? And he said, what hast thou done? The voice of thy brother's blood cried unto me from the ground. And now art thou cursed from the earth, which has opened her mouth to receive thy brother's blood from thine hand. When thou tillest the ground, it shall not henceforth yield unto thee her strength. A fugitive and a vagabond shall thou be in the earth. And Cain said unto Yahuwah, my punishment is greater than I can bear. Why think Cain said that, brothers and sisters? Brothers and sisters, why do you think Cain said that, lament unto Yahuwah, when he said, and Qayin said unto Yahuwah, my punishment is great than I can bear? What do you think he means by that, brothers and sisters, huh? What do you think it means? It means, brothers and sisters, that even though Qayin killed Havel, right, Qayin whole purpose is that he will be cast out of the presence of the Most High. You understand? He won't be in the presence of the Most High no more. That's why he said the punishment was too great, because he would not have that relationship with the Most High had he had enjoyed previously. So when he killed his brother Havel, right, that relationship was broken and severed. That is why he was lamenting that he couldn't, the punishment he received from Yahuwah was too great. Right? Verse 14, behold, thou hast driven me out this day from the face of the earth, and from thy face shall I be hid. See? So the Most High explain in verse 14 of what Qayin had feared, and since what he said the punishment was more than he can bear, because he said, the Most High said in verse 40, behold, thou hast driven me, not Yahuwah said that. It's Qayin acknowledging what the Most High had done, right? Verse 11, because if you notice in verse 11 what the Most High said, and now art thou cursed from the earth, which hath opened her mouth to receive thy brother's blood from thy hand. Right? And in verse 14, Qayin acknowledged, behold, thou hast driven me out this day from the face of the earth, and from thy face shall I be hid. So this is his concern. That's why he said in verse 13, the punishment is greater than I can bear. Why? Because he realized and acknowledged and know that the Most High had driven him from thy face, right? And from the face of the earth. And he acknowledged that I will be hid, and I shall be a fugitive and a vagabond in the earth. And it shall come to pass that everyone that findeth me shall slay me. Right? And Yahuwah said unto him, therefore whosoever slayeth Cain, vengeance shall be taken on him sevenfold. And Yahuwah set a mark upon Cain, lest any finding him should kill him. You see, brothers and sisters. Okay, brothers and sisters, take a screen. Keep looking on your screen. We're going to break down the name of Cain and Abel, right? The usage of Qayin or Cain. The usage of Qayin or Cain is a proper noun used in the Hebrew Bible to refer to the firstborn son of Adamah, which means earth in Hebrew, and Hawa, living one. The name is often associated with the act of acquiring or possession, reflecting Hawa's declaration upon his birth, I have acquired a man with the help of Yahuwah, Bereshit 4:1. Abel in Hebrew is Havel, means breath or vapor. Havel is directly linked to the Hebrew word used in eclectics to describe the concept of vanity. The name Havel Abel, with its meaning of breath, can be seen as a poignant reflection of his short life, brothers and sisters. So after Qayin killed Havel, Eliyahu punished him by causing him to be a wanderer and a drifter on the earth. Qayin responded to Eliyahu that his punishment was too great to endure, because whoever finds me will kill me. But who were these others? Whoever that Qayin feared would kill him. And why does it matter, brothers and sisters? Many people simply assume that at the time that Qayin murdered Havel, there were only 4 people on the earth. Right? Adamah, Hawa, Qayin, and Havel. However, the fact that the Bible doesn't explicitly mention other people does not mean that there were none. One principle that we find to keep in mind is that just because the Bible doesn't mention something doesn't mean that it didn't happen. The Bible doesn't claim to tell us everything. It just tells us everything we need to know to understand how to live in relationship with Eliyahu. For example, in Qayin 21 and 25, Yahusha also did many other things. If they were all written down, I suppose the whole world would not contain the books that would be written. Again, in Qayin 20, 30, 31, Qayin writes, the disciples saw Yahusha do many other miracles, signs in addition to the ones recorded in this book, but these are written so that you may continue to believe that Yahusha is the Mashiach, the son of Eliyahu, and that by believing in him you will have life by power of his name, brothers and sisters. First, we need to understand that this story spans a number of years. Seth, the son who replaced Havel, was born when Adama was 130 years old, Bereshit 5 and 3. We don't know how old Adama and Hawa were when Qayin and Havel were born, but it is clear that Qayin and Havel were not children at the time of the events in Bereshit 4. Something else you notice, brothers, is that after Qayin killed Havel, Qayin went and lived east of Eden, Bereshit 4 and 16. By this time, Qayin had a wife who is not mentioned anywhere in scriptures prior to this passage. It is also important to know, brothers, that Adama and Hawa had produced the first twins the world ever seen, right? In Qayin and Havel, right? So take a look at the screen. We're going to show it to you. Bereshit 4, 1 to 2. And Adama knew Hawa. So when the scripture say knew, that means they have intercourse, and Adam knew Eve, his wife, and she conceived. That's how you know intercourse, because right after when the scripture said Adam knew Eve, she conceived. So in order to conceive, you have to have sex, intercourse between a man and a woman, and bare Qayin and said, I have gotten a man from Yahuwah. You see, and she again bore his brother Havel, and Havel was a keeper of sheep, but Qayin was a tiller of the ground. You see, brothers and sisters. So right there, you see right there, the scripture alluding to there are twins. How you know it is that's a fact? You only can conceive one time, right? You only conceive only one time. Once the seed is implanted in the woman and fertilize her egg, she is in conceivement. You see? And then she's going to bear that child. But listen what the scripture said in verse 2. After she bear Qayin, right? And she again bear his brother. It's the same conceivement going on right here in verse 1 and 2 of chapter 4. You see, and Hawa and Adama knew Hawa, his wife, and she conceived and bare Cain. That's one action, in conceivement. And here in verse 2, again bear his brother. So it's a back-to-back, you see. And Havel was a keeper of sheep, and Qayin was the tiller of the ground. So I just want to point that out, brothers and sisters, Where did his wife come from, brothers and sisters? And as I asked in the induction, who were the others that Qayin is afraid will kill him? If the only people on earth at this time were Adama, Hawa, Qayin, and Havel, where did he get a wife? Who was he afraid would kill him, brothers and sisters? So we know that he got his wife from the land of Nod. So, brothers and sisters, the land of Nod is a place in the Hebrew Bible's book of Bereshit, Genesis, where Cain was exiled after murdering his brother Abel. The land of Nod was located east of the Garden of Eden, right? Meaning of the name, the Hebrew word Nod means wandering, exile, or fugitive. Cain settled in the land of Nod, the land of exile, established a city, and had a son named Enosh. So, brothers and sisters, Qayin, he went and lived east of the Garden of Eden, right? You see that in Bereshit 4 and 16. If you take a look at the screen, you see on the map, you see a map of that land called Nod. You can see it's directly east of the garden, right? You could see that. You see the land of Elam right there, land of Nod. You have the Lot Desert, the Lamatia, right? The Lamatia, right? The Lamatia. And then you see the Garden of Eden, Susa, and right there up on top. You see Iraq and Kuwait. All over the Northeast Africa, Asia Minor area. Brothers and sisters, I said take a look at the screen. See another map right there to give a bit clarification. You see Havala, the Pishon River, the Garden of Eden, got the Euphrates, Assyria, Tigris, Gihon, and the land of Cush. And for relevance, two brothers and sisters, if you want to see the actual physical, real life land, go back on my videos. The Garden of Eden has been found. You could see that well documented and researched video. Do check it out, brothers and sisters, huh? So you have a visual idea of where the land of Nod is. Right, brothers and sisters? So by this time, Cain had a wife who is not mentioned anywhere in scripture prior to the passage. So that's where Nod got his wife, from the land of Nod. Qayin got his wife from the land of Nod. So we know that we just established that his wife come from the land of Nod. Right? And as I asked in introduction, who are the others that Cain is afraid of will kill him? If the people who on earth at this time were Adam, Qayin, Adam. So, and as I asked in the introduction, who were the others that Qayin is afraid will kill him? If the only people on earth was at this time were Adama, Hawa, Qayin, and Havel, right? So Cain's statement that whoever finds me will kill me illustrates that I said earlier, the Bible clearly has not told us everything that has happened up until this point. The identity of these others is not critical to our faith in Eliyahu. There are other people in the world right now. We don't know who they all are. We don't know how many they are or where they all live. But we don't need to know that in order to walk in Eliyahu's way. I've mentioned before that I'm not a Hebrew scholar, but I think it's important to remember that the Hebrew word Adama also means man or earth. In Bereshit 5, we read about the generation of Adama, referring to the individual. It is important to remember that the Hebrew word Adama also means man. In Bereshit 5, we read about the generation of Adama, referring to the individual man, Adam. But when Eliyahu created, he created man as male and female, Bereshit 1 and 27. So in Bereshit 5, we see that Adama fathered other sons and daughters besides Seth. You can see that in Bereshit 5 and 4. However, when Eliyahu banished Qayin had a wife, and the Bible does not tell us whether Seth was born before or after Qayin's banishment. The point is that, brothers and sisters, that the Bible narrative is broad enough to allow interpretation that there were other people after the fall and before Havel's death and Qayin's banishment, without telling us specifically who they were or where they came from. We don't need to know any of that. We might be curious about it, but curiosity sometimes distracts us from what Eliyahu is trying to say to us, brothers and sisters. Eliyahu tells Qayin that he is cursed from the ground. That's the key, cursed from the ground. Which means that the ground will no longer yield crops for Qayin. Eliyahu also said that Qayin will be a wanderer and a drifter on the earth. Qayin, however, interprets his punishment as meaning something else. I'll be hidden from your face. This demonstrates that Cain understands that it is important for him to be in relationship with Eliyahu, and that's the problem with our people today. They don't put emphasis on the importance of having a relationship with the Most High. Yeah, get to know his name, Yahuwah, get to know his holy son, Yahusha. Get to know his laws, commandments, and statutes, and practice them in your daily life, and encourage others to keep it among your people. You understand? They don't cherish these things that could actually save your soul after death, because what we are going through right now in this physical life is temporary. But your life, what you're going to live, is after. This is a temporary life, you know. You know, most of you are lucky to get 120, 110 years. But that's temporary. But the life you're going to live is after death. That's eternal. You know what I mean? So it will behoove you and be wise of you to prepare for the afterlife, because this life is temporary. You know what I mean? You're here today, gone tomorrow. Your life just like a vapor. You understand? So even though his murder of his brother had broken that relationship, he needs a relationship with Eliyahu, yet he believes that he will be hidden from Eliyahu. That's why he exclaimed, "My punishment is too great to endure." Cain also believed that Eliyahu's curse will result in his death. Whoever finds me will kill me. Right? It's interesting that Eliyahu gives Cain the assurance of protection by placing a mark on Cain. We don't know what this mark was, nor it is important. What is important is that even though Cain had killed his brother, and Eliyahu punished him by making him a wanderer and a drifter on the earth. It is interesting that Eliyahu gives Cain the assurance of protection by placing a mark on Cain. Okay, brothers and sisters, so the word for mark in Hebrew is oath, O-T-H, oath. And it's all familiar with the word oath in modern time English, oath, oath. Oath is a sign, right? It's a sign or token of any kind with nothing to indicate if having such a mark is good or bad. You see, brothers and sisters, so the Hebrew word for mark is oath, O-T-H, is similar to the modern day word oath, O-A-T-H. That's where they get the word oath from the Hebrew word oath. That means sign, which means sign, mark. You see, brothers and sisters. So we don't know what this mark was, or is it important to know? What is important is that even though Qayin had killed his brother, and Eliyahu had punished him by making him a wanderer and a drifter on the earth, Eliyahu still protected him. When Cain claimed that he would be hidden from Eliyahu's face, Eliyahu responded by promising protection. And we just went over why he was scared. You know, not so much that he killed his brother, but because he would be driven from the face and presence of his creator, Yahuwah. I wish many of you would have that urgency and that fear of being out of the presence of the Most High, and try to reconcile with the Most High, like how Qayin did. Even though he did something wrong, he broke the commandments of the Most High. You understand? He still, within himself, realized and know that he had killed his brother, yes, but most importantly, the severance relationship, he acknowledged and know that he wanted to come back to the Most High for his guidance and protection in this time, you see. So what is the purpose of the mark, brothers and sisters? What is the purpose of the oath? Oath. Right? What is the purpose of that? So that no one finding him would kill him. That's the purpose of the oath. Right? That anyone finding would not kill him. That's why I say that Eliyahu protected Qayin, which leads me to the conclusion that Eliyahu didn't give up on Cain. Right? There are very few places outside of Bereshit Genesis 4 where scriptures even mention Qayin. In Hebrews 11:4, we read that it was by faith that Abel offered a better sacrifice than Qayin. Even given the context of Hebrews 11, we can assume that the faith which very few places outside of Bereshit 4 where scriptures even mention Qayin. In Hebrews 11:4, we read that it was by faith that Havel offered a better sacrifice than Qayin. Given the context of Hebrews 11, we can assume that the faith which Havel demonstrated was following the directions Eliyahu had given for the offerings. By the same token, Qayin rejected those instructions, and that's why Eliyahu rejected his offering. So, what are the instructions that the Messiah gave in Havel and Qayin? When they're gonna make their sacrifice unto the Messiah, take the best of it and give unto him. Havel did that. He brought up his sacrifice with no blemish on it, the best of the fruits, the best of his herd, the best. But what Qayin did, he gave the second best, the third best. He didn't give his all. And the Most High knew his heart. That's why the Most High rejected it and accept Havel, because Havel gave his all. He gave his best. And that's why the scripture said, serve him with all your heart, with all your mind, with all your soul, brothers and sisters, with the entire being. Don't half step when you come to the Most High. Don't be, stepping and fetching and half stepping. Because when you pray to the Most High, you want his full blessing and rewards, right? So why would you want to come to the Most High half stepping? I wonder why many of you don't get your blessing, because you're half steppers. You know what I mean? So in 1 John, Roshan 3, John warns us that we are to love one another, not as Cain, who was of the evil one and murdered his brother. And for what reason did he murder him? Because his own deeds were evil, but his brothers were righteous. Right? Yakinin Roshan 3:11-12. The context in Yakinin Roshan is a discussion of the world's rejection of the Mashiach and those who follow him. Yakinin uses Qayin as an example of one who disobeyed Eliyahu and responded in hatred and anger against his brother who did obey Eliyahu. But this passage uses Qayin's action simply as an example for us not to follow, not as eternal condemnation of Cain. The fact is that no one is righteous apart from Eliyahu, but Eliyahu calls us to righteousness and makes it possible for us to be in a right relationship with him through his son Yahusha, brothers and sisters. And two brothers and sisters, if you think about it like this too, right? If you think about it like this, had the Most High revealed that mark or specific symbol that was given to Cain for protection, what do you think would happen in this modern time, brothers and sisters? Think about it. What do you think would happen in this modern time? The wicked one and those who have stepped in with the Most High, thinking that they could go through other avenues to pray to the Most High, to worship the Most High, they would try to implement that mark, as you can see today. Right? Certain things connected to the Most High, they put around the neck as symbol and mark. You see, brothers and sisters. So that's one of the reasons I believe the Most High keep that mark hidden, because had the Most High revealed that symbol, you see what I mean, people today would worship that symbol, put it as tattoos on their bodies as a mark of some type of protection, when the Most High himself is the protection. That's the whole key. The Messiah is the protection. He is the sign. Yahusha is the sign. He's the mark. You know what I mean? That's what the scripture said. You know what I mean? Those who believe in the Messiah follow the Messiah within Israel, and outside of Israel will get the seal, an oath oath, right? A seal, a sign, a mark that those are his people. Also, those who follow Hashatan and Hashatan and their children, they will get that mark also, but the mark of Hashatan, the oath of Hashatan. You see, brothers and sisters. So, on that note, Baruch Yahuwah is ever hot. Baruch Yahushua Mashiach, Shina, Vishna, blessed love and shalom.